got the save, holy shit. Save of the century.
I'm gonna play that back.
I'm recording it.
Alright, let's start off again. Aggro.
What are you thinking, Argyll? Do we go?
Oh, I'm in this
again,
one.
depending on
I
step
didn't remember.
right or left?
Yeah, you're my team.
Depends
on the comp, we can try to rush like towards the point a bit.
Since we have the Lucio.
Yeah, otherwise we can try to go left side with Junkrat.
If they don't have
Yeah, so you can see, like, if you don't have a Junkrat, we'll just go to the left side. Reason for that, let me quickly pull up the map, if you will. So if we're going in the left side, aka long in the description here, that will mean that if the enemy team, let's say the Red Cross, if they have snipers on this high ground or this high ground, that means they cannot really reach us as effectively. If the enemy does have a Junkrat, we want to try to avoid the red entrance. But supposing that they don't have a Junkrat, we want to go on this left side, A, because we have Reinhardt and Zarya, so we can pretty comfortably brawl in that narrow corridor. And second of all, we can go to point relatively quickly without really revealing ourselves too much, without taking too much damage from longer ranges, which is why we're going left side here. Like if we would go through main, we'd be taking a lot of fire from the snipers up top, for instance, and if we would be going all the way around, it would be very elaborate for Reinhardt and Zarya. Like, they don't want to walk around that long.
right.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have a look. So can hear me that I'm Venom, so I know they have a Widowmaker. They have a Widowmaker.
Yeah.
So that's Steve Reinhardt. Let's go left side.
I got spammed.
So this is all good. I can just shield everyone here. Okay, so by now we see basically everyone has made it through to the left side. I shielded people a bit in case some damage. Fluent and Chris can stay on the bridge there, so that's perfectly fine. No, Widow can stay on by herself, it's fine.
Okay, look at that comp.
You have Diva. Ana, I think. You have Ana, yes.
Yeah, oh, I remember this.
Okay, this is gonna be awkward.
Feed, yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got bubbled right after the charges. Right after the hammer swing, which is unlucky, so I got crowd control non-bubble. That's swanky pattern there.
Oh my god.
Okay, but you know what the fuck?
Can you see that though? What colour is their health bar, Argyll? But where's my bubble, dude?
No, you don't have a bubble, but you have a matrix. That's the only thing you have to work with.
Shit.
It's okay. I mean, Swanky's play in itself, it was risky, but it could work.
But can you see the nade, guys? Can you see the nade?
Guys, without a joke, guys, without a joke, Krill already uses team bubble. Whoever is going to be anti now stays anti for the entire duration. And if Swanky would have gotten what's it called? Diva Matrix, it would have been a bit safer. Maybe with good coordination you can get it better. The idea is aggressive, but it can work if you coordinate it well. So if you had like the fully like a 2-second Diva Matrix there, could have worked because we already used our team bubbles. So whoever was going to be anti was going to stay anti. And that is me, I think. So we got one. I'm wasting this like an idiot. What I'm doing now, I took a bunch of damage for some reason. I think it's Diva just shooting at me, yeah. But I haven't checked out your comp preemptively, which I should have done, because I thought you were going to try and res it with a Mercy, which is why I was pushing up. In hindsight, you guys didn't have a Mercy, so I shouldn't have pushed up like this. Which does lead to my death. I got flashbanged, or took a bunch of damage from Diva, and Rhino was still around the corner.
Okay.
So now we're in a situation where blue team has no main healer, and red team has no main tank.
Oh, they don't even have that.
Then we get our Lucius down, but we get their Diva mech.
I'm dead.
Now we lose Chris as well. So basically now, we lost our main tank, we lost our off support, and we lost one of our DPS.
No,
So we're kind of falling back because it's not really until I get rezzed. Okay, now I have full HP again. I have a full barrier, and we still have Junkrat, and well, in this case, sorry, with decent charge, I can go in. So in this case, we have a McCree here. We have a Baby Diva and a Widowmaker is going to be on the side there. And in this case, Baby Diva was orbed. You kind of want to attack Baby Diva relatively soon, just so you can prevent a remake, because otherwise the fight is just going to stall it for so long, which is not what you want. McCree, in this case, has his role and his flashbang, so he's not very easy to target yet. Widowmaker is also a good target just to prevent the ranged threat from ensuing, because Vibes had already taken out Chris, and we don't have a res anymore. So we know that if we can contest a Widowmaker at any point, we have to kind of go for it, because we don't have the long-range damage to contest her. So if we can get her close, then we can go for that.
2 seconds, 2 seconds. I'll bubble.
Try to kill the Baby Diva or the Widow. So we got that command going. Krill takes, kills Vips, it's really nice.
Point. Let's go for Baby Diva.
Okay, McCree is half. We're going to separate Baby Diva a bit with Fire Strike.
Nice. Squirty is still behind us on the little high ground.
Okay, so we got all this now.
Squirty's behind, yeah, he's on me.
Yeah, he's on the little high ground.
Okay, Anna no sleep.
Bottom.
Ryan's back. Go for the Ryan.
This is very funny again. Like me and Ryan are brawling out of it.
Ryan's got full pocket. Ryan 1. Blocking on the hill.
That's what I was,
You're purple, you're purple.
what I was trying to do is I was trying to get a swing in, and then rotate my shield towards Swank, because Ana is the only healer in the game that can have her healing like completely negated through barriers. And that's why I was a bit late in doing it, but I wanted to shield up just so like Reinhardt was behind my barrier, the enemy Reinhardt. Let me just rewind it quickly, actually.
Nice,
You're
nice.
purple, you're purple.
Nice. For
Blocking on the hill.
this is so fucking.
Ryan's back. Go for the Ryan.
So in this case, what I'm
Ryan's
trying
got
to
full
do
pocket.
is like I want to shield this angle here, just to ensure that all the Swanky shots will get blocked by my barrier. I'm a bit late in doing it, hence why his grenade still hits. But if you're ever like in a situation as Rhino where you can, as I call it, block Ana heals, literally just shield the enemy Ana from healing any targets that are like behind your barrier, then that's very strong to do, because like I said, she's the only healer in the game that can have basically all of her abilities blocked by barriers, including her normal heal. Swanky does get the nade off though, but we do get the
Purple, you're
kill.
purple.
Okay, we're safe. Scrooty's in the back, still watch out, Ryan.
Okay, gonna shield Ramsey because she's taking a bit of damage.
Get Scrooty on point if you can.
It's gonna be unlucky.
No.
I'm gonna send my Fire Strike and Ramsey
Look at
just
that
boop.
feed. Look at that fucking feed, guys.
Yeah.
My Scrooty. Whoa, dude.
But like,
Feed more Scrooty, please. Feed more.
but in this case, this is just basically unlucky coordination. If you will, Ramsey opened up with a right click on Lucio with a boop, which knocks him possibly out of my Fire Strike projectile. It doesn't end up mattering too much because I'm just gonna shield a bit.
You walked off point. All of
Yo,
you.
Yeah, it's
C9.
fine.
I missed my swing because I'm stupid. There we go.
There we go. Nice.
No, I think-
Okay, go straight to point. Straight to point. Let's rush.
Yes, this is going to be interesting because we're going to have Graviton up here, and we have Valkyrie alongside Earth Shadow, which is pretty strong. And we will have a Junkrat probably coming up this fight if we play well. I didn't really keep track of the enemy Ryan's Earth Shadow too much, but I think it's reasonably assumable he's kind of close because he swung quite a lot when we were still around here by the health pack, and he got some damage in when he recontested point again. So we're going to be looking at that.
Alrighty.
But in this case, we got a stagger on
Shadow.
Scrooty.
Push. We got the thingy down.
Okay, so now I'm going a bit too aggro. We got Scrooty down as a stagger, and I pinned the Diva with a bit of luck, admittedly. It was just at the end of my charge range as well. So we're going to go aggro.
She's pinned.
Holy shit, I'm not even with
Yeah, so Krill's saying it right now, I'm not even with you, bro. Like, if I rewatched it, and as you can see here, I'm charging way ahead.
Shadow. Push.
In my
We got
mind,
the,
Krill was
thingy
like
down.
at the gate. In my mind, Krill's
Diva
way
low,
closer,
she's pinned.
Holy
but he
shit,
wasn't.
I'm not-
And then you can see Evander from the side here. He's going to shatter me. That's
Okay, I'll
unlucky.
go back. I'm Shadow from the side. Okay.
Oh.
I wasn't aware. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
I can maybe rest.
No, Ryan's
Okay,
on the
no.
side.
No, don't risk
Our
it.
rush time is over. Just reset.
So that was pretty interesting because it was basically a mistake on my part initially because I thought like Krill and the others were way closer than they actually were, which is just my bad. Then Krill did say, "Dude, I'm not even with you." After which I did like kind of halt for a bit and put my shield up, but Evander was flanking on the side, which is something I definitely didn't expect if you were already one man down on the defense. I wouldn't have expected a flanking Reinhardt. We did get the Earth Shatter off, which did stabilize our defense. So just by using one ultimate, essentially, the Reinhardt Earth Shatter, which is relatively expandable anyways, they basically prevent the snowball. Scrooge is going to be respawned, and well, since I'm not there yet, there's no chance you're going to push this with a main tank. So they managed to stabilize quite well.
Okay. What do we got here? We almost got tired.
Yeah, we
They're
can
gonna
combo
have
Rip
to
target that. I mean, it's gonna insta-kill it. Like, if we get a good squishy grab, we can just tire into it.
Yeah. So now we're looking at ult economy for a bit again. So Scrooge is playing Zenyatta, unsurprisingly, and we all know that Transcendence can do a lot of healing. But since we have a Junkrat here, whereas Hanzo is commonly more popular than Junkrat these days, we're looking for, as I call it, a squishy graph, which means a graph that doesn't really feature a lot of tanks in it, just because Riptire, I think, does 500 damage burst, or like 400, but at least enough to kill squishy targets instantly, whereas Hanzo ult is damage over time. So in this case, we're going to look for a Graviton, which features a lot of non-tanky characters, just because the Riptire combo with Graviton and Riptire, it's going to insta-kill people even if the enemy uses Transcendence, or on a grenade to double Transcendence healing. That's what we're looking to do here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We lost one.
I can rest. Resing,
Yeah,
resing.
Okay, just
But
shielding the
careful,
res.
careful.
Need location, yeah.
Yeah, I was safe. Don't worry.
Right.
Okay.
I'll ask for a shield if we need it.
Alright. Let's try to burn Diva, everyone.
So I'm blocking a lot of the Diva damage.
Go back, go back.
There's one note that I want to make real quick. You can see that I blocked a lot of the Diva E ability, or micro missiles, which up close you absolutely have to do, because when Diva, like her micro missiles, they aren't very effective at longer ranges because people can dodge them easily and the spread is too large. But once you're in close quarters, it can do a lot of damage, which A, can kill your own, like your teammates, but B, Diva can get a lot of ult charge off from micro missiles. So if you're in close range with Diva, definitely block as many of the micro missiles as you can. You can see my shield basically took like 800 to 1,000 damage just from the micro missiles. So it's definitely damage that you want to block. Okay, so we used res and we lost the sniper duel. So there's no way we're going to be able to push this, and I have no shield, so it's time to back out now. We don't want to hold him too close.
Reset again, we lost Chris. We can let go. Go back, go back. We don't
That's
want
what
to
we're doing right now.
choke. We're going to get slammed down. Shield out, shield out.
Okay, so I'm just shielding my team out. This is perfectly fine.
Come on, go back.
We have 4 ults.
Yeah, let's push on the right side this time.
Okay. So now we're going to watch my HP for a bit. I heard no sleep.
Let's go in.
I'm waiting for full shield until I engage. And as you can see, I block about 400 diva damage again.
Oh,
grab
check
here
out.
if you want.
Nice, let's go.
Yes, I'm anti-cheat. I'm bubbled.
I just, I know, I've seen this bit. I want to ask a
We're
question
gonna-
on this.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
by the pillar, I can say.
Okay.
Ryan Shatter.
Nice.
How did you know that he was going to put his shield down? Because I watched it really, really closely, and when you shattered, he still had his shield up.
It's really niche. It's really niche. So
Uh,
we're going to rewind to here, right?
Yeah.
We're going in.
Oh,
grab
check
here
out.
if you want.
Nice, let's go.
So the enemy used anti-grenade, which is... I think it hit multiple of my teammates, but at least it's safe to assume that the enemy will want to engage kind of hard now. A, because I am anti myself, and B, there's possibly teammates behind me that are anti, which I think Swanky can confirm. If something's anti, like with Ananate, then you always want to focus it down, right?
No,
expect-
never, Argyll. I'd
Yeah,
never expect
never.
my team to do that.
You never do it,
Yeah.
but you want to, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Okay. So we use anti-nate, the enemy team, the blue team, and I get bubbled now. So I'm no longer antied, but that doesn't mean that I commonly can't really go in as aggressive. What I do now, I see Cake flying in. I just like keep her. Let's rewind 1 second. What I do is I basically rotate my shield here, just so the enemy team can't really help Cake as effectively, because they would have to pass through me. So Cake is now kind of like not fully isolated, but sort of separated from her team. Like she cannot really be helped as easily because I'm kind of like zoning it out. So we know that the enemy just used Nano Boost, and my team bubble, the one that curls, is I think on like a 6-second cooldown around now. So I pretend that I'm going back. Like I don't want to fight that. I've just been naded. My team bubble is not up. You have Nano Boost, and the enemy has a sleep dart, and I want to go. So I try to back up. Then I see Lucio booping into me, so I know that I have to be close anyways, because Ryan's going to be close, regardless of whether I move in or not. So I just move in, as in trying to protect my team again from the Reinhardt.
Yeah, we're just hiding by the pillar.
So then I know that after that, I've put myself in a position where if the Rhino wants to charge me, he can go for a very short pin. My entire team is essentially standing behind me. So I know it's probably a go-to time for the Reinhardt to have a swing or have a charge at me, just because I don't have team bubble, and because he has been Nano Boost, and I've been like sort of playing the game where I want to play keep away for now. But I still secretly want to get the Reinhardt out of my team, the Nano Boost Reinhardt. So that's when I shatter, when I'm at the moment where I'm in a very close pin range, but I'm still in a also in a position where my team will be in risk if I don't dispose of the Reinhardt. That's why I shattered there.
Ryan
Shatter.
Nice.
That's how I go for it. It's a bit clutch, because if he held his shield up just a second longer, it would have been cut.
I'm pinned.
yeah. It was a bit of luck, like. It was also like.
It's very clutch time. Like if we just rewind like 5 seconds again, but like
Nice.
one more second. Like
Hiding by the pillar.
if my internet was maybe a bit slower, if my reaction was a bit off, or if Evander held his shield up like just a tad longer, it would have been kind of cooked. But since it was very close, it was possible
Yeah, we're just
maybe
hiding-
that like my hammer, I think it just connects in front of him, but it could have still like gone past him and shattered his team
True.
behind him.
Well, I've got a scrim now, so aren't them?
Oh, that's a reminder.
Oh,
See you, have fun.
oh. I love you. Bye.
Yep.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Pillar, I can say.
So,
Ryan
Nice.
Shatter.
let's rewind that. In
You're
this
right
case,
out
I
of
make
the
a
way.
mistake
I'm gonna
here,
block that.
because I move kind of back. Like I guess in some way I just take the pin. So because we use Transcendence, if I take the pin, I can live through it. But it's still very risky. I could have maybe dodged the pin. It's kind of like an iffy situation. I don't want any of my squishes to get pinned. But then again, I might have not been needed for me to take the pin, which gives you Pindar like 25% ult charge.
We lost one.
Okay, so we lost Junkrat now. I'm dead.
We lost Crusted. No combo.
Pushes over.
Crusted, you used your ult. Reset.
Yeah, so Crusted used his ultimate, sadly enough, before we had Graviton going. So our combo is now out of the way. We don't really have any ultimate to combo with Graviton currently. I'm expecting the enemy Ryan to have Shadow out because he got Nano Boost and he got a charge into me, and he hasn't used one the entire game, so he should have one by now, which, well, he does again, essentially. Or he used one earlier, by that.
Crusted, we needed to combo.
But we saw the Nano Boost was committed, we saw the Trans was committed.
Reset
So.
hardcore.
We got quite a good
we'll
fight
just try
going
to
because we've
swing
got quite a
into
few
it, I
ultimates
guess.
out.
Try to stick to the plan next time.
Should we split up Lucio after we use speed?
We could try, yeah. I mean, they don't have a grab anyway, so we don't have need the.
Middle in the middle high ground.
So what I'm trying to say, I think I don't fully like complete my sentence, but like since the enemy doesn't really have a graviton or like a combo that has damage over time, so let's say like a visor, a Genji blade. Because if we look at their comp, they have a Widowmaker and a Tracer currently, and they had a McCree previously. So there's no like ultimate of theirs that can be healed with Transcendence. So in this case, also hello, it's quite handy to have Lucio.
I got moved into FK.
Oh, then you're right.
Damn it.
So in this case, having Lucio is quite handy, just because the enemy team has ultimates which can't really reliably be blocked with Transcendence healing. And besides that, if we can like overrun the enemy team with Reinhardt Zarya, the speed boost is very handy. Which is why we're sticking to Lucio rather than Zenyatta.
My boy
They have
Lucio.
Tracer now, no more
Squirty on the
McCree.
right.
Yeah.
So I should be
Yeah.
down the line.
Wait, are you guys
We'll
ready
just-
to go?
Yeah.
Just checking if everyone's ready.
Okay.
Shield is
They're gonna
full.
rush that, they're gonna rush that.
Okay, we got one pick on Scrooge. That's really big, and I love my shield recharge
Did you
again.
just say they're gonna res that?
I keep saying stupid things. I don't think that was someone else, but
No, not
Yes.
yet. I said that.
Yeah. Did you just say they're gonna res that? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
Let's go.
Wait,
They're gonna
Anna
rush
can't
that, they're
rest?
You're an Anna man and you don't know Anna can rest?
What the fuck, dude?
on point A, I'm point A. I also said don't let him rest Swanky. On point A, I also said don't let him rest Swanky. Yeah. Anyways,
res Scrooty, dude.
Anyways, we got the pick on Scrooty, and as you can see, like prior, I let my shield recharge fully, and it's kind of blurry now, but by the time we're actually in their face, my shield is up to full again, and I've taken like 50 poke damage in total because I got healed over time. So as you can see, we're basically in their face already without having taken any real damage, and we even got a pick prior.
Finish on me!
So now we can see Diva's kind of alone on the side here, which I will try to keep that way, and we'll try to get as many people on the point here for our Graviton.
On point. 3, 2,
Okay, so Krill's calling it on point. 3, 2. So we can see we've got a bunch of squishes in the grav. In this case, it's pretty interesting. You can see the Graviton is just like on top of the pillar. Like it's not on the ground, it's floating above it a tiny bit, which creates a very interesting situation for Reinhardt because Reinhardt's hammer has to touch the ground before the Earth Shatter actually connects. So commonly, like shattering into a Graviton is not very popular, but it is possible if you set up right, but since he's in the air a little bit, it takes long for the hammer to actually connect to the ground, which is why I'm a bit more aggressive in attacking like the enemy team here rather than blocking the potential Earth Shatter. For several reasons. A, because I have more reaction time to actually block it, and B, because we have speed boost, we can surround him from different angles, making it very hard to get a good Earth Shatter off. Normally, I would just block a lot of the possible damage or Earth Shatter, just like literally stand in front of the grav and hold my shield up. But in this case, I can just swing into it. A, to get my own Earth Shatter back, and B, because we have the perfect comp essentially to prevent that in the perfect situation. Get some kills.
When I watched the video, you guys rushed Evander really, really quickly, and he kind of like retreated and
This one?
pushed back. Yeah, in this one, like that push just there.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
wondering, like, in a rush like that, is it better to
So I should be
like
down the
hold
line.
your ground and
Are you
get
guys ready
really,
to
really
go?
aggressive?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I watched them;
let's
they
go.
had
They're
options
gonna
to shatter you there or charge you. So would it be better? He retreated, but would it be better to retreat and like try and live, or push in and go really aggro and try and repel the push and make space?
It's really tough because they were already one man down, so they cannot really push aggressively.
Hmm.
And on top of that, like we have Zarya, so whatever Evander wants to do with me, I have a team bubble on me if things go really nasty.
Mhm.
Which a Diva cannot really like. Diva has very good high ground control on this map, so she's still a strong pick. But just in like pure Reinhardt advantages, like tank advantages, Diva doesn't help Reinhardt as much as Zarya can. And in this situation, unless Swanky gets like a 6 sleep or an anti-nade off, unless
Dude,
5
I
pops off.
always get 6 sleeps. Look at this. You'll be slept in a second, you ape.
Shut up. But it's a bit tough because like if you want to push aggressively, I mean Lucio's like the go-to character for that, just because you can rush into them, like you say. It's a very aggressive play. We already have one man advantage, and we have a decent amount of ultimates. Like we have a Graviton, which is like fucking huge to have as an ultimate. So I mean, it's kind of tough, but with like the ult economy that we had, the enemy only had Earth Shatter, and we had 3 ultimates already, and we had a pick. So if you wanted to swing that, it would have been a clutch play. Like Evander would have had to hit like a 3-man Earth Shatter. Swank would have had to hit like a huge debuff or a 6 sleep dart, something like that. But it is very hard in this situation to swing the fight and to prevent the rush from coming onto you, unless
Quickly,
you like. way.
quickly asking, like, sorry, like, so have you? Wait, oh no, never mind. Actually, I just answered my own question. Like, sorry.
Okay. So as you can see, we're rushing them very aggressively, and the only way that I can really like prevent this is if they either all move back to point and wait out the speed boost a bit, or if they like all fully commit to counter attacking us. But now they're like kind of split off.
On point. 3, 2,
Yeah.
1.
Like where you had a pause just there. If it was me, I think just because hopefully on their team they would have kind of thought they probably have Grav. You know, they're probably going to go for it now. I hope what I would have done is I thought I would have just like charged, just go like go. We have to push them back into all or nothing because they're going to wipe us with this Grav. So it would be better to just like you can either lose from the Grav or probably lose by overextending and committing to a fight they're going to lose. But maybe you could just like somehow win it.
Like I've done this yesterday in scrims at some point where we were one man down on attack, and I just baited as if I was going back and then charged in on the brigade and killed her. It is very hard, like just surely because of like ultimate advantage. The enemy had no transcendence and only had an earth shatter. We had 3 ultimates, one of which was the off support ult, so we have much more sustain. One of which was graviton, which is just team wipe 101 essentially.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to make that work after you lost one person, yeah, it's like you can do some next level bait tactics with like feinting a retreat and then charging in when the enemy is about to engage, but unless you like really practice that a lot and you're really certain about it, it's very hard to pull off. But one of the things I would recommend do is try to just preemptively be ready for what the enemy might do. It's like, I don't know about like the team communications of Team Blue here, but if they said like, hey, they have a graviton, I have no transcendence, or they say like, hey, they have lead, and they might just like rush into us, then you gotta make sure that everyone's on board on the same thing. So either everyone just retreats a point and like give them some space, but also keep them distance, or everyone just like fully commit to like, okay, you want to fight us, then yeah, let's go. And if that doesn't work, yeah, then like I said, you have to make like individual plays. Whether it has to make some sick headshots, I'd have to hit like a very clutch pin or earth shower, but it's tough regardless.
Brian's in it.
Nice. I'm on Diva's half. No armor.
Okay, so we got a bunch of kills now.
Focus the baby.
Okay, so we killed Baby Diva now, because well, you don't want to get the remake.
Cancel here, on point.
That is ensuring Anna can't really hit anything.
Left side.
Can we shield it?
Okay, so in this case, Nina asked for shield.
Can rest.
I hit him now. I could have shielded, but since he's 1 HP,
I can kill him.
and I decided to kill him. Like, I wasn't really sure. Like, I could have shielded it, but then again, I didn't want to prevent. Like, I didn't want to get any more stalls on point. That's why I killed Scrutiny, or still went for the swing. And even if we lost Junkrat with the amount of presence we had on point and just how much percentage we already had, I figured it would be like better to just clean up the fight rather than like shield up and wait for 1 or 2 seconds. Which is why I decided to swing.
Tracer on point.
Okay, so in this case, I know the enemy Ryan has Earth Shatter because he got a lot of damage in last time and didn't really use it in quite a while. And I know he's charging in now, so go to time because he has to charge into us in order to contest point. In which case, he has to drop a shield.
Ryan main.
So I focus on Reinhardt so he doesn't have Shatter, and then it's clean up.
Pinning Diva
Done.
out. Nice, that's good.
Nice.
Well, this was one of my worst games. That
This
day.
one? Nice.
Yeah, I also play very bad to be honest in this one.
That was the last game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the last game. I also made some mistakes in that game.
Shattering Reinhardt.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably that.
I think it might have been a charge on him.
But Swanky was playing Anna.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, Evan though.
Okay,
Yeah.
what do you want to play here?
Wait, did you think Evander was playing
I was
Anna?
gonna say our Orisa Hog went pretty solid, but that's different.
No.
I expect him to run double.
Flanky, be quiet. So we're basically like doing strategical discussion, and like we say, Krill says, hey, we did pretty good with Orisa Hog. That was on the Nepal Sanctum map before that.
To be honest.
But like, that's a different map.
So we need something with mobility.
Okay, we're going for mobility.
But just to push them away, worst case.
Yeah, that's Krista can still play like his stationary heroes. Like on defense, we can play counter dive. So that means that me and Krill will be quite far away from the rest of the team. We'll just wait for them to engage, and then we're probably going to peel for you. So we're going to try to protect you.
So what's Leroy gonna run?
A stationary DPS of his choice, essentially.
So I guess me and Zen are taking high ground.
It's funny. I mean, I know you play like a lot of stationary DPS. You're not very good with flankers, not.
That's true, kinda. Yeah, no, yeah.
So like, thing was like, I didn't want to force people onto specific heroes, and I also don't want to force people onto things that they're not a little good or comfortable at.
I'm changing to tank now.
Ah, nice. That's
I
good.
give up.
But yeah, in this case, like Chris Fantasy's playing some Widowmaker and did pretty good last round. Krill wants to go for some mobility. And I'm like, yeah, we can fill it in with like Winston, and then Crest is also like a stationary DPS player, just by nature. So we're gonna play counter dive. I'll discuss it more elaborately what that exactly is, but I'm also doing it partially here.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Leroy, just stick to lady.
And then
Yeah,
McCree, McCree and Mercy might take plateau then.
So this time, we're not gonna make the same mistakes with Incom. We're just gonna hold the opposite high grounds here.
Am I not gonna stay with the tanks or?
Well, what we're gonna do, me and Krill are gonna wait until they attack you guys.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay, I'll pocket Chris.
No, me.
We need an escape plan towards the Zenyatta over there. So
the Zen should stay here, right?
Zen is a bit alone. Yeah, Zen, you can come here.
Yeah, she's here.
Yes, I'm just getting everyone in the proper position.
So then leaves McCree alone.
I can hear a Widow shooting, by the way. They have a Widow.
McCree, get up top left here.
Yeah, come up with us.
They have a Widow.
So
Right.
make them come to us.
Yes.
So let's pause this real quickly. So we're gonna have Krill's gonna be contesting this high ground, of course, and he's gonna have Lady Ramsey on Zenyatta. I'm just gonna mark this with 1 actually. So Krill, Lady Ramsey, and Crested. Those are going to be on the left side high ground. There's like a couple reasons. I know Chris is probably going to go for a Widow duel, so I know that if he gets picked off, I might have to bubble someone for a res, which is why I'm staying here and Krill staying by the others there. Second reason for that, also hello.
Hey! Oh shit.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay,
Join
so we know who it
the
is.
yeah, join the advisor. But I'm also like I want to keep Krill on there for another reason, which is if the enemy decides to push onto.
You stopped talking for me. Yeah, hello.
Is everyone in the visor link?
Okay, could you, what did you say again? Because
Let me just post it. I'm posting in VODs.
Yeah.
It's in VODs, okay? I just
Yeah. Perfect. What do you want to say, Chris?
I missed a part of the conversation for a second.
Oh yeah. So basically, the ones that are marked with a 1, they're gonna stay on the left side high ground near the health pack. Reason for that being, I mean, res is just gonna help the Widow a lot with damage boost and a possible res, and I kind of want to be near that just because if Widow gets picked off, aka you, I can just put a bubble down and Mercy can res if she's not behind the cover already. I'm just gonna mark you with 2, by the way. And on top of that, like me and Swanky spoke about this earlier, but we spoke about how McCree isn't really an offensive hero as much, but more a defensive hero. The thing is, like with both Zenyatta and McCree, they're very vulnerable to be like dove upon alone. So if a Winston sees a Zenyatta alone, he's going to go for him, and if a Winston sees a McCree alone, he's going to go for him definitely. But if these two stay close together, Big Trusted 10 and Lady Ramsey, whatever wants to dive, like the two of them, is going to get discorded and possibly flashbanged. So there's going to be like a lot of damage, and also Crescent will get a heal orb. So it's going to be pretty nasty dive on top of the duo there. And Krill can just aid in whoever wants to come at them. Like if there's a tank being sent their way, Krill can just micro missile the tank and we'll deal with that. That is if the enemy runs dive. So what we're trying to do now is set up a composition where we just protect our DPS as long as possible, unless the enemy runs a vastly different comp. Then we're just going to follow up on the damage, because you have like standard dive, where you have Tracer Genji, for example, as DPS, and then you all focus on a single target with high mobility, using your mobility. If Blue Team in this case will be running very mobile heroes themselves, we're going to play the counter dive that we were discussing here, which means that we will be waiting for the enemy to engage onto one of our DPS or healers, probably, with their dive heroes. And then we're going to punish the dive. We're just going to initiate right after them and go for the target that is initiating.
No, right now we're expecting double sniper because we called it in spawn.
True. So then I'm wondering what DPS you would play on attack with double sniper, because if you're going to play like double sniper with dive heroes on attack, it's not very effective, because double sniper doesn't rely on like body shots as much. It wants headshot insta kills. So if you want to get that going, you'd probably run Reinhardt Zarya. And also, like if you're running two very stationary and very defensive DPS in Hanzo and Widow, then you're probably not going to run very mobile tanks, because they can't facilitate them as well on attack. Like there's no real reason for us to start attacking your snipers with mobile heroes, because we can just hold the high ground here and take cover from them. So we're not, like, we could maybe have a dive here and there, but it's not very likely.
So let's be a bit quiet until Argyll he points out a target, right?
I mean, depends on what they do. Like, if they have like dive tanks, like any mobile hero, like Genji, like D.Va, like Winston, that's like a prime focus, and I'll call which one I'm going for. Okay, so there's 3 people up the top left high ground, and
It's taking a long time. Might be slow comp. Oh, wait up.
Nice pick.
Nice.
So we get a pick. That's perfect. I'm just
Can you see what
keeping myself
waiting
in.
for the rest?
Saya Reinhardt, Sven,
Mercy, Hanzo.
Yeah.
You go right.
Okay, so we just basically, I remember very vividly, in this specific situation, I just pressed tab for a couple seconds, just read out the entire team comp, simply because there wasn't really any fight going on, so I could just take the time and sort of strategize for a bit.
Gabe,
And-
can I ask something?
Yes.
Why didn't Bubble your Widow at the beginning?
I was also thinking that.
Okay, Bubble is a very vital cooldown. If you're going to use it, Widow has to get like at least 2 picks in order to stop the entire attack, essentially. I would rather save my bubble to protect someone who is being attacked by a possible enemy mobile hero, like D.Va or like Genji. Or I want to bubble a target that is being killed for a resurrect. And if I'm not going to use it for that... Jesus Christ. Crested? You okay?
But yeah, but couldn't you time it properly? Like, you know that there's a specific time that Monkey's bubble is on. So if you could properly time it, you know, so she still gets some protection at the beginning for the push, but you still get like the cooldown over.
It would depend, but Monkey's bubble is a relatively long cooldown. So if they see my bubble go down and they have a Lucian, they just rush instantly, then I'm kind of in trouble. And let's say if Chris doesn't get a pick using my bubble and my bubble breaks or expires, and he gets killed after that, then I have to literally walk in front of the body in order to get a resurrect off. So what I would be doing if I would just drop my bubble preemptively, I will basically be shielding when it's not really per se needed to shield yet, and it would require Chris to probably make at least 2 picks, 2 kills to get the
Okay, but you could have.
Wait, can I? I think what Alice means is that you bubble before the enemy attacks.
Yeah.
So then it's you know how bubble is placed down and it already starts its cooldown.
Yeah.
You would have it back sooner, and the bubble would go offline shortly after it.
Yeah, like I said, it would depend on if they
But
rush
also,
it very quickly.
One more thing, you could have swapped position with D.Va, so she could have been using her Matrix a little bit to defend Widow.
We had decided to go with this because D.Va can protect Zen and McCree a bit better. And on top of that, if Widow needs to be resurrected, then Winston's Barrier is a bit more reliable in doing that a bit safer. Which is why we went for this high ground position specifically.
Okay, you can continue.
Right. So Chris got the first pick at some point.
Okay, you can rotate with Widow, that's fine. I can stay a little
Yeah,
high
okay, so
ground.
Chris is rotating.
Going over the bridge.
Okay, so we know by now that the enemy has a very stationary comp. They have Reinhardt, Zarya, and Double Sniper. So what I'll be looking to do, if there's a fight breaking out, I want to just use the high ground like to create different angles of attack, just because the enemy team can't really have the same luxury of having different angles. So I'll be looking to get that going a lot. And on top of that, I want to follow up on damage that maybe D.Va or maybe one of the snipers, or well, McCree maybe. If they bring anything low but don't secure a kill, I can just hop on in from the high ground, like drop down without using my shift, my jump, try to kill it, and then get back off my jump again. So I'll be looking to just follow up damage and just keeping myself hidden so the enemy doesn't know me.
I'm going to contest points soon.
Okay, so the enemy is now on point. So I know it's going to be me and D.Va's job to contest. I see Mercy's discorded and she just used her fly.
For Mercy on point now?
Hands on the left behind
We
us.
go for it. So Krilla. Okay, you can see this is Krill coming in now. If I quickly bring up the map, here's this. So basically we chased the Mercy down. So we have this exit is now basically blocked by me, and this one is being blocked by Krill. It's like the type of attack that I mean. It's like a pincer almost, where you have different angles of attack, and the Mercy in this case doesn't really have to go reliably. Like she tried to flee inside the health pack room, but she still had to deal with me on the left side, and then Krill came in from the right side. So that's like how a strategy like this works in like a single attack, if you will. It's a good example. Okay, so kill Cake.
Let's go back to high
So let's go back to high ground. Then I see, okay, Zarya is also dead. That's really good.
ground.
So Hands on the high ground.
So what I'm doing now
Guys, okay?
is I jump up, and because I can use my movement key still in the air, I can literally just hop to this high ground if I want to, if I press A like a maniac. But I can see it now, Reinhardt's kind of low. So in this case, I'm using my jump almost like a roadhog, take a breather, then in a very literal sense, like, let's just observe for a bit, see what's going on, and then see, hey, Reinhardt's low and Krill is still fighting, so...
Swinging, get the Ryan, get the Ryan.
Hanzo's high ground
I'm
left.
gonna go for him.
Nice.
Dead.
Widow on break.
Okay, so we got the Hanzo's dead now. We only have Widow remaining with Scrutty somewhere.
Okay, so let's go
I'm on
Widow.
Widow,
break.
I'm on Widow.
Good job, good job.
So in this
The
case,
Scrutty is the deadliest.
yeah, that's rude, Chris. But we're gonna see how this plays out again. You see, Krill takes one angle of attack,
Within a grapple, I see.
and I take the other angle again. This is very good, like a very good example of tank coordination between Winston and D.Va, taking different angles of attack and essentially isolating a target almost. And Chris eventually follows up with the headshot, with the body shot on Vibes. But if he hadn't done that, me and Krill would have finished it. But that's a very nice example because Chris basically had the long range shot in the middle. Krill had the left side covered and I had the right side covered. So basically Vibes in this case had nowhere to really go, even though the team fight was already lost.
Nice.
It's a very
Is
nice
he still
example.
alive? No, he's dead.
Yeah.
Good.
No, okay.
Hey,
good.
Argyll, I'm curious.
Oh, that's...
Should
Yeah.
Sen stay up here at all times?
I thought that was you in the actual Discord, Krill, now.
Preferably yes, because he has no mobility to get to another high ground.
So
And
let
otherwise
go
gonna get
down,
separated.
stay up.
This is very vital. Our entire composition is built on controlling the high ground. And like, if me and D.Va or something get off the high ground for a bit, that's perfectly fine because we can get back up very easily. But if Crested or Lady Ramsey's on the low ground, it's going to be very tough just because it will literally, like, it will take very long for them to get back to the high ground. So we have to keep Crested and Ramsey on high ground as long as possible, just because we cannot protect them as effectively when they're on the low ground.
Yeah. The
They have
reason
main
why I
as
asked
well.
is because when the fight when the last fight, right? Last team fight,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw Lady jump down. And I got really scared, so I was like, oh shit, Lady jumped down of high ground. That's why I asked.
Okay. Like, in
I
that
know-
situation, it was kind of fine because we're going to get some kills, so we're going to be looking at least a 15 to 20 second time window from when Lady Ramsey essentially dropped down to when the enemy is actually going to attack again. So you have to kind of calculate if you have the time to get back to your normal positions again. Like, if you have a major advantage, like we had just now, we had like 3 or 4 kills up, then we can definitely just push in. We can get some cleanup duty, if you will. But yeah, you always have to keep in mind, can my immobile heroes get back to their strong positions again in time? In this case, I think we did.
Hold down, okay.
They have Moira, Zen as healers. and
You
they have
stick
Mei.
with me.
And D.Va. Okay.
And they have Monkey. They have Dive
Okay,
now with
dive. Yeah. I think.
Mei, interestingly enough.
Okay, so now the enemy team has 2 dive tanks, but they do have a Mei and a Hanzo, which means that they're kind of running a similar composition to us. They're running like some sort of counter dive to some extent, but with mobile heroes still. But they also have Moira to like get some point presence going. So this is going to be an interesting comp.
Who's gonna drop for
It's
it?
well
Okay.
done.
They probably
No,
will go
I
there
can,
now.
I'm not. I can full get back up.
Okay, so Chris is now on the low ground.
Okay. Let's wait for a bit.
I'm
Diva's
waiting for
coming
them
around.
to
Yeah,
start
okay.
moving
Yeah.
the ability.
So I'm hearing some activity on the right side now. Just let this
Just leave me
play.
for the.
I'm gonna
And since Chris is no longer on the high ground, I have no reason to be on the high ground anymore. Like, as long as our DPS are on the high ground, I don't really have a specific job yet, and as long as they're popping off. But in this case, Chris is on the low ground. I didn't need any healing, and I wasn't in range to attack, so I just was just like, Niana can help the rest of the team again. I'll just go on a different
Mei,
angle.
no.
Yeah, they're going.
Yeah, I told you that, Mei. No more Widow.
And the thing that they have now with Mei, Mei can be very strong if she has her abilities up, but as soon as her abilities have worn off, she isn't very strong anymore. So what I'll be looking to do is try to I'm looking to get like a little bit of poke damage in on D.Va or Mei, and then use my abilities to get out again, just to ensure that maybe Vibes or maybe Swankpad cannot do as much as they would like to. Just trying to bait abilities
Oh
as well.
fuck!
Is there
They're
Revenue?
around.
Okay, so in this case, I heard that the enemy is up top. Scrutty killed Crested, and I saw Nyan. I just fly into there.
They're on the high ground. I'm
Let's
not
go
the
for it.
fastest.
So it was like, in hindsight, I didn't have to go in here just because my friendly teammates Krill and Niana were dropping down again. But still, in this case, since they were there initially, I decided like, hey, let's jump up top and just protect them for now.
Okay.
But then I see that they dropped and like, nope,
Watch
5
out, Lady
teammates.
behind you.
Okay, so I see now Lady Rams has to drop to low ground. There were 5 people up top. I wasn't going to fight that.
And I'm here.
Get off the high ground now. That's good.
So now we've got one of the tanks now onto low ground. I'm just seeing if I can get Scroozy, but he positions himself very cleverly near Cake. And I'm instantly discorded. I was like,
Look at me out
nope,
here.
not going to do that.
Monkey on point. We can go for him.
Over that.
Mei on.
Now I'm kind of struggling because there hasn't really been any good target for me to dive effectively here. So I'm kind of in trouble now, and I've used my abilities already, which is not ideal.
Mei on me. Mei on me.
Okay, so I'm calling the maze on me. Krill luckily sees it
Unfrozen Mei low.
and prevents
Good
my
job.
inevitable
No
death,
minions.
essentially.
I got bomb on
Okay.
point.
So in this case, I was getting kind of low and I was getting frozen again. And I also had used all my ammo. In this case, I decided to pop my Winston ulti just because I was already sort of getting frozen and I wanted to live. I wanted to try and see if we could contest this for a bit longer. I'd used all my ammo already, and I just jumped, which means that I can now do maximum damage because I used all the like Tesla ammo, if you will. I used my jump for the damage. I was kind of getting low. I had to stall. Like this was a good moment to prop rage for me because it had like a lot of good things. Like I already used my ammo and I used my jump, so if I use my ulti, I can get more damage in. And on top of that, I can still stall because I was already getting low and I was getting frozen, so I had to use it relatively quickly there.
Okay, let's go.
So we use our Transcendence.
D.Va low, no mech.
Okay, we get the D.Va.
Oh, no fade.
This Crow gets a big bomb.
Nice, big.
Oh, no
David
fade.
behind.
This is Swanky's favorite moment. She does a heart emote.
Yeah, look at this. Killed me.
Cold Heartless
Oh,
Killer.
God. Heartless, dude. Fucking heartless. Just
Punch him in
rewind
the
that.
gut.
Can we get a gif of this, please? This is what Argyll thinks of me. Look at this. Look at this. I love heart him. Bam.
Baby, leave it up. I'm going.
Okay, so
Look
in
at
this
it. Doesn't
case,
even say my name. Doesn't even say my name. Baby Diva. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
but
I'm
like,
glad we spent a year together.
yeah, Krill got like a very good D.Va. Was a 2-man D.Va when I took out the D.Va. But in the meantime, Vibes, Kick, and Screech have both all gotten kills.
Contest point here. I'll try.
So I thought in this case that I have more teammates alive until I looked at the kill feed and my teammate called me out.
You're alone.
3 people here.
Krill says you're alone. I was like,
I'm
okay,
stalling,
I just
okay?
gotta stall. I gotta
Make a
die now.
retake. We got like 3 kills of that. No Moira ulti.
We got belt. We can definitely do this.
Okay, let's get back. We lose it.
So this is good communication from Krill's side as well. Like, I thought we had more people alive, especially because I think I didn't notice that Cresta was dead, because Cresta could have possibly cleaned up if he had like very good aim and shit at that specific moment. But I was like, I was gonna try to contest, and then Krill just said, "Dude, you're alone. This is over." And I was like, okay, yeah, let's get back. We do force out a Moira ulti, which is very vital, because we had just used Transcendence, and the enemy's team hadn't used theirs yet. So I knew that they had Transcendence. And the fact that we got Moira ulti out of the way means that their possible snowballs out of the way, because if they have Transcendence and Moira ulti, they can push very much hardcore, and they can push with a lot of sustain healing as well, which is very good for me that we got the Moira ulti out of the way here, especially because it was just me against 3 people.
It's fine.
Leave it then.
Yeah. But we got the Moira ulti out. They still have Trans. They will have D.Va bomb.
Okay, so I miscalculated the D.Va bomb here. This is a very good habit to get into there, like, in team play. Like, I'm saying, okay, they have Trans. I say they have D.Va bomb, which I actually don't, but at least I'm sort of keeping it in mind, I guess.
We say dive?
Yeah, definitely.
Sure thing.
I called that they use Moira ulti, so...
They will have Hanzo ult here. They will have D.Va bomb. They might have a tank ult and Winston coming up soon.
Yeah,
They do have
Winston's getting
Trans still,
close.
so they're gonna hardcore push this probably.
I didn't really keep track of Vibes as much, but he did get a lot of damage in, so he just gonna end up having his ult in this fight.
In the back.
But as you can see, we're keeping track of what ult the enemy have.
Lady Ramsey.
Yeah, I know.
Just to know what we can
Gotta stay
expect and what we
behind
can
the-
I
counterplay.
don't really have any flankers.
Careful, Scotty has it out for you.
Oh,
Alright, so in this case, we got the enemy Hanzo down earlier. So he was basically in spawn. And we basically make a trade again. In this case,
Just killed.
I'm gonna.
I'm just gonna drop my bubble here. Let Niana res.
I'm safe. Yeah, I'm safe behind the
But
pillar.
the team fight is still over because
Hanzo
they have
mid.
1 person in spawn and 1 is respawning now.
Gonna go right side or left side.
Yeah, it's let them
Regroup,
be. So my position here isn't very much ideal, to be honest. This is a position that I commonly take up in solo queue, and if you're ever playing Winston in solo queue, you can do this all the time. But since like pugs and scrims are a bit more organized, it was basically pretty bad of me to position as much as I did around this place. Is what's going to happen a couple times now is that I'm going to dive something, and I'm going to end up taking a lot of damage in the process just because my team might not always be able to follow up, because a lot of my team were positioned around the ruins and the crows, essentially. And that was very much up front, so I was kind of alone, which is, I guess, basically a solo queue habit that I might still have, but if you're like ever doing team play and whatnot, try to like be more coordinated with your team than what I'm going to do, because I'm going to end up taking a lot of damage. I'm going to end up dying quite a lot, which I shouldn't really do.
no.
So we're going to see that play out.
Leave that mid.
So as you can see, like I'm a bit far away from my team, which is a risk in itself.
I don't have to farm on one, do you?
I think they're waiting for ults or something.
No, they're waiting for a Flora group.
Just to let you know, Argyll, I know
Falcon, they move
the
in.
reason I
Monkey on
went
the
up
left.
then.
Monkey on the
The
left.
reason I went up then,
Yeah,
Argyll,
small
was because I
health
know
pack.
you too
Oh,
well.
no.
I
No,
literally
I
know you
what?
so well. I know you so
Yeah, I know.
well, Argyll, and I know
Just
your
standard
shitty
spot.
positioning. That
know.
literally, I went up there to take you off high ground, and I epically failed.
I know. It's because I always, like, if I rewind a couple seconds, I want to position around this left corner here as much as possible, because there's like a little peek window here on the right side where I can see what's going on the high ground, like the bridge, but they cannot really damage me. But Scrutiny, I think, is pushing me here from the left side, doing some damage.
On the left. Monkey on the
Yeah.
left.
Scrutiny in the small health pack left.
Monkey
Oh, no.
armor.
Okay, so we lose one.
Stop, I think.
In this case, like, I got D.Va's shift mobility out of the way, so she cannot push right now. I know Scruti's in the health back room, so he's probably not directly in the fight yet, unless he's all the way in the back. And we lost one player in Chris. So we cannot really, like, I have to give up my aggressive positioning here, definitely. We just have to fight on point now.
I can rest.
And it's gonna get messy now, because we didn't keep track of Mei ulti at all. Neither me or Krill gave, like, any indication of it. And since I saw it was popping out, like, I saw Krill wasn't really in range to possibly block it. We kind of thought he did, but he didn't. So I dropped my bubble to just create some time. See the Hanzo ult's out, Mei ulti's out.
In the bottom left, go for her.
And now it's gonna get messy.
Now on point.
I'm dead.
Okay, so now I thought Moira used her shift, but she really didn't. So that's kind of problematic. And now we're kind of like frantically looking for the target, if you will.
I can stall with Monkey ult late.
So what we're doing now, I'm just trying to do as much damage to as much targets as possible, because we're in such a disadvantage that we probably have to stall. So I have to get my Monkey ult up. I have to get my Prime Rage, it's very much relevant.
Get the D.Va.
Did I got D.Va bomb out?
Okay, so Cressy comes up with a huge Deadeye, which is very clutch. Like, A, because it's a two-man Deadeye, it can swing a fight, but B, it's both DPS players for the blue team are able to fight. So no Hanzo, no Mei. And
well, they do still have Scruti, so
yeah, I mean, like Scruti is still like he's a DPS-ish player if you count him with his damage, but also Zenyatta is a DPS-ish character. But since they lost both their DPS, they lost so much punching power. Like, unless D.Va and Monkey and Zenyatta all get like mad frags and perfect coordination, it's going to be very hard to actually secure the point here. So it's two things. A, the Deadeye gets 2 kills, that's massive, but it gets 2 kills of exactly the same rule. And in this case, it's the DPS. And if you're ever needing to capture a point or to get people off a point, you need the punching power of just DPS. So not per se raw damage, because tanks also have a lot of damage, but very much like the burst damage that Hanzo and Mei have. And since they lack that now...
Pick that eye. Go point. Just stall.
So now I'm looking for a target.
Moira, she's low, no orb.
This is interesting, because I saw that I took a bit of damage earlier from behind. I'm going for the Moira.
Okay, Scruti next on Zen main.
And then what I tried to do, I knew he had trans, so I was getting kind of low and I used all my ammo again, basically. So I wanted to get like a more offensive ult, and I was hoping that I could push Scruti onto the low ground here. I end up failing in doing this, and he gets Transcendence on the point, because I wanted to push him onto the low ground, but it would take him quite some time to get back to his team, because then he would not be able to, well, help his team with either Transcendence healing or Discord or Healing Orb. Scruti stays on the middle ground though, so I don't really succeed with my plan, if you will.
Try to get a Stalker, so get your traces and get your Maze in.
Yeah. Trans.
Get your illusions in.
Okay, so now Lady Ramsey uses trans on me, and Swankbat is kind of getting low, and he's discorded. So I think that's this might be Scruti's territory, but I always like it when Zenyatta's put on a Discord target on a tank or something, just so you can get like a lot of Discord value out of the sheer damage. I don't know if Scruti would agree with that, but for me it always seems very helpful to do that. I think he's not here anymore. Rip.
Let me check. Oh no,
He's not here.
He is AFK.
AFK.
Wow,
Hey,
Scruti, dude.
I was just talking. I said I really like that Lady Ramsey put the Discord orb on D.Va right before she trans, just because it will mean that while Lady Ramsey is using Transcendence, we can keep our Discord value up if we all damage D.Va. Would you agree with that, or is that like just my own view, which might be off?
He says yes.
Nice.
I love that. You have to like wait in chat for his response.
Yeah. Yeah, my chat is not working, sadly. So
oh, you haven't seen how we've been shit talking? Okay.
I was expecting that anyways.
Not you, just everyone shit talking me.
I see. But anyways, we get the Discord up off on D.Va.
Nice. D.Va low.
Okay, so we get the Moira ulti out, and we get the D.Va DMX. That's really big. So in this case, I normally tend to focus Baby D.Vas a lot, but in this case, the fight isn't won yet. So in this case, I'm going for other targets. Like, you can focus Baby D.Vas like when you've basically secured a fight, if you will, or when you can easily kill it. But in this case, there's bigger threats than a Baby D.Va near the point. So we have to kind of secure that we defend here, like convincingly. So I'm not focusing Baby D.Va right now. I can worry about Baby D.Va later on.
On Zen, back right. Let's go for him.
So that's Zen.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay, we kill Zen.
Nice,
Perfect.
Nice. Go in now. Monkey low.
Monkey's it's going low, and he's got Discord on, and now I'm trying to kind of peel with Krill for Lady Rams, who's getting kind of low.
Monkey low. Focus Monkey.
So we got the Monkey down. Now we're just cleaning up again.
Moira no orb. Focus the Moira now. Oh no, let's go for Baby D for front.
Okay, so the Genji used his dash, and I just used my jump. Moira was out of range, so I had to look for a target that I could get to instantly without too much risk.
Front.
It just happens to be Baby D there.
That's
clean up.
Try to get Genji next if possible. Left side.
Moira point.
I missed my jump and punch here. I could have otherwise killed him. I could have maybe saved my mobility.
But Genji won.
Hentai gets out.
Why
Successfully.
is really lit? Cake is one. Ah, fuck.
Tracer low on left side. No recall. She's bottom health pack.
Yeah.
She's on her
So now we're going for a stagger and...
She's in our spawn.
Okay. We can chase her still.
Basically what you see now, Crescent's on the left side here. I'm up here and I think... was Chris maybe? Yeah, Chris was going from this angle.
Right, separate. Perfect.
So that's like the classical pincer maneuver again.
Okay, they will have Monkey ult still. They might have a new D.Va bomb.
Okay, so I misread those ult. Monkey used his ult quite early in the fight and didn't have it anymore. D.Va's only halfway.
They just switched their DPS around, so they have no ults there.
They're getting close though.
Yeah, we have Hulk.
Did they use Moira ulti?
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Late in the fight?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Late in the fight, okay, that's perfect. You can go back with Team Diana. Stay there.
Yeah.
The Swanky's gonna come onto my feeding positioning and it's gonna get worse.
Hanzo, Monkey opposite.
Monkey on side.
Okay, here we're gonna see what you should never do if you're in a scrim/team-based environment.
Ooh, almost got picked me.
Tracer behind.
So I'm gonna dive here. Chris is kind of near me.
I'm going on the backside now. I'm gonna ult if I go low.
Okay, so this is... I'm very happy that Chris is with me, because otherwise we would have never gotten hentai down, really.
Nice.
Yeah, Monkey's half on point.
I'm gonna feed Scrutty a full transcendence.
Let's go for Scrutty.
Oh
Yeah.
no, fuck, he got me.
This is unlucky for me.
Unlucky.
Swanky's doing a really good job because he's protecting Scrutty very effectively and booping me away from him.
Where's one on point?
I keep getting booped by D.Va.
And he got the health back as well.
Fixed it.
You too.
Yes, this is very good play essentially by Scrutty and by specifically Swanky Pet, I must say here. Because, like I said, I'm gonna say it in 20 seconds, Swanky. You have to be very patient for this, but like I was diving in too aggressive again. Like I mentioned, my initial position was quite far off from the team, and if it wasn't for Chris actually going that deep with me through the main gate, we would have never even picked off Genji, I think. And eventually, Scrutty does pick off Chris, which makes me all alone with D.Va and Zenyatta, which is not ideal. Swanky does a very good job at crowd controlling me away from the health pack and body blocking Scrutty, and Scrutty gets the health back, which is very helpful to him, so I die.
The D.Va juggled me too much.
Scrutty literally
got
got 60% of his transcendence in one monkey fight.
Trans for the Genji Blade. They will have their own trans again because I fed like a maniac.
This is it, Swanky.
They will have Pulse Bomb as well, and I think they'll have Genji Blade.
Stuck me. She just
Okay, they have Genji Blade.
So we basically say, okay, I felt like a maniac, so I have Transcendence, they still have D.Va Bomb, I thought they had Monkey ult. We didn't really keep track of Moira, which we should have. I thought they had Pulse Bomb, but Krill said, no, they used it. Okay, perfect. And I said they have Genji Blade, well, they're at 96, so they're going to have it here. That's always good to keep in mind, again, what ultimates are coming up.
Monkey ult, D.Va
we're going to use Zen ulti
We're gonna stay on the side.
for the Genji Blade, that's our plan.
There it is.
I knew it.
Okay, so Crusted and everyone's already positioned on the side here. I use my bubble here, just preempt, like, for, like, I don't want to not use my bubble and have anyone being picked off by it, so I just use it as a general means of safety here to prevent anyone from dying to the D.Va Bomb.
Break the shield.
I have Genji on me, Argyll, I'm at you.
Okay.
Non-failing. We lost our Zenyatta, so they have a free blade now. Like, we don't have trans in the fight. That's kind of unlucky. And you can see player, I think, instantly as soon as Zen was dead, he pushed the Q button.
Genji's very low.
And that's kind of problematic, because they had Moira ulti going on, they had Zen ulti still, so I couldn't really effectively pressure that. And in that situation, I was not really in a good position initially, and as you can see, I don't really have anything to really convincingly fight, so I'm just kind of fighting on point, taking a shit ton of damage. In the meantime, you're losing this fight. So.
We died with trans, okay. Try to recontest very late. Yeah, good.
Okay, so since we already capped like 2 points on our attack, what we can try to do is just give him as much percentage as we really want and use our ults late in the fight, because I know Crested had an ult when he died, and I know later rounds he had one. So what we're going to try to do is literally just give him as much percentage really as needed, and then recontest.
Try to recontest with trans late in fight. You might have to use it from spawn if we give up the second round.
Yeah. This is a bit poor coordination, but Ramsey's going on the right side with a Transcendence, and me and Crested are going left side.
Okay, good. We're going to go on point. Crested, let's go. I can bubble you.
What I meant here was for Crested to high noon, but I didn't very clearly say that. I thought that he would like high noon as soon as he could, so I dropped my bubble basically instantly to keep him safe. He didn't end up high nooning, sadly, but it's just a bit of poor coordination. I could have been more clear on what I said. So we gave 2 ticks now. The monkey got 2 kills with his ultimate.
I'm alone
just go stall, guys. Maximum stall.
I'm gonna try to stall this out as long as we can. Yeah, I'm dead, I'm fragged.
Oh, Crusty, you couldn't ult. Okay, that's unlucky. Stall it.
On a mech.
This stall.
Stall maximum. The more time we get, the better.
Yeah.
Right. So if we quickly review this defense, I wasn't playing very well in this defense. In my opinion, I was feeding a lot of ult charge just by the sheer amount of like scrutiny ults that we saw. And on top of that, I was often in a position that was very aggressive and away from my team and very hard for them to follow up on. Like I've seen like that type of positioning work also like in some Overwatch League matches, but your entire team has to be like on board with it. And I oftentimes saw my team was in the back, so I should have been more reserved with how I positioned, how I engaged. So
that's unlucky.
And as you could see, because I wasn't positioned well with my team, on point B I often struggled to find a good dive target. Like on point A, I was doing it very fluidly.
No, great. No derp in my internet.
Thanks.
I was hoping.
Got a time.
Yeah, we got a better time.
I was hoping on the ladies to get on the point and annoying them.
Right. So now it's 2-2, about 2-2, and we have a much bigger time bank though.
Lady ignoring them.
1 minute 15 for the enemy team.
Annoying them, and then me ulting.
We got 3 times as much time.
So we're gonna start off with defense here.
But still, we have to hold this. Okay, so I've got only 1 minute. They're gonna go for something quick value. So I'm still expecting.
Okay, so I say they've got only 1 minute. They're gonna go for something of quick value. Like if you're going on attack, you're probably going to run dive comp in this situation, because you can run like Orisa Hog, but it's so weak on attack because your shield is completely immobile. So it's very uncommon to run like a Orisa Hog spam comp on attack. So I'm not expecting that. The other option would be a Reinhardt Zarya comp in tanks, but those take long to charge their ultimates and get value quickly, whereas Winston Dave can get value very quickly by just controlling the high grounds and getting kills very quickly. And on top of that, we ran a high ground heavy composition on our first defense, so they might expect it, and I'm expecting them to go for mobile heroes to contest the high ground that we had previously.
Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted.
Let's go Torbjorn.
So yes, so Crested is saying let's go Torbjorn, and then I'm like, yeah, I've already selected Orisa. I kind of had the same plan in mind, but since I'm expecting them to play dive comp, I'm gonna play something that is built to deal with dive rather effectively. They will have dive themselves, I think, as they need to get quick value. Do you want to go Torbjorn for real?
Work. Yeah.
Okay, let's go Orisa then. Get the Hog or Diva in the mix.
So I'm kind of doubting it between Hog or Diva.
Like we could take Diva for the sniper,
high ground
right?
control, yeah.
And Krill makes a good point. Like he says, like also for the high ground control, but also for his possible snipers. We're gonna get into why we take specifically Diva over Hog in this situation.
Perfect. But we're gonna just hold on like the back corner.
The left back corner.
Ramsey, maybe we can go either Mercy or Zen again, because I think we need those two supports.
Yeah. I was asking Ramsey to switch off of Brigitte, because if I'm gonna pull up the map real quick, Anubis point A. What we're going to do, we're going to sit on, like, in between closet and balcony. We're just all gonna position ourselves around here. So literally the last thing we're ever gonna do is try to fight people at close range. We're gonna play keep away, if you will. Just gonna put shields down, put spam damage in, and that's how we're gonna try to fight it. Stop feeding. I see Helly's message in oh, fucking hell. But yeah, what we're trying to do is play keep away. So I'm asking Rams to swap off of Brigitte, just because we're going to try to avoid contact with the enemy team as much as possible. We're going to get a lot of spam damage in on this balcony. And like this position between closet and balcony, it means that the enemy is going to have to go to point in 1 minute anyways, just to get the objective. And in this situation, we have so much sideline, like we have so much range on them that we can just spam them down from quite a while.
Chris, you can just play DPS of your choice. You gotta preferably want to stay behind shield.
Okay, I'm afraid a bit of like a Pharah comp coming out.
Yeah, we're gonna shield all the way in the back corner, and then we're gonna drop only when needed. And that's gonna mostly be Diva's job. Yeah, this looks good.
Okay, so we're just gonna pause it at a good moment.
You want me to drop first, right?
Yeah, like what we're gonna do, we're just gonna hold this corner.
Yeah, let's wait for the moment. And so basically, whenever the enemy goes through the gate around here, we can shoot at them and see them. If they want to go for here, we can shoot and see them. And if they want to push on the left side, it's probably one of their best bets, which they are going to end up doing, but we can just spam them all down in the little hallway.
And if they're
like we said,
to get a tick,
if the enemy takes any relevant high ground or relevant positioning, Diva can contest it very well by flying in between high grounds wherever she wants. And on top of that, if we ever need to contest point for like a few seconds, Diva can just hop on in, and then she can maybe get back if we clean up the fight again.
We have to contest the point with David probably, and I might drop down after that.
But it's not far
So what I was hoping here...
Bait for the dive, or
No, we just have to hold on point and spam him down like a bunch of...
So I was hoping that literally everyone would stand behind this little barrier here and just spam him down. It doesn't end up happening.
A bunch of idiots. That's all we do.
And Ramsey's going to be positioned by the health
Stay
back.
behind the shield, everyone. So if Ramsey's in trouble, you can peel her.
Now I can see Ramsey.
Alone there, Ramsey. I hope.
I can hear again.
So I was hoping that Ramsey would be with us with the shielder, but she's in the right side. It does end up going well. I'm a bit late.
They're going left, so. Diva on the left, Monk.
Okay, so I was spamming mid a bit late, but my team calls out they're all left.
Everyone on the left.
Yeah. Okay, let's go rotate to left side then.
So what I'm doing now, spamming a bit. So now the enemy used they used the monkey jump and they used the deflect, which means that this is a good moment for me to put my shield in another position. Because with Orisa, your shield is completely immobile, like I said. Once you put it down somewhere, you cannot undo it in any way. I keep getting like pop-ups in Discord. There we go. But once you put it down, you cannot really like reshield in a different angle. So if you're playing against mobile heroes, it's very relevant that you put your shield in a way, of course, where it can protect your teammates, but also in a situation where it's very hard for the enemy to circumnavigate your shield. In this case, you already use Winston jump and bubble, I think I see. Which is why this is a good moment for me to put my shield back up. So I'm putting it right here, just to cover this entire corner where the enemy wants to attack. Diva goes in, and we know that with Orisa like being a hero that has a very poor like primary fight, it's very hard to like reliably track people with it. And I'm gonna have to fight tanks predominantly. A, because my aim isn't very good, and B, Orisa's weapon is a relatively slow projectile, so you don't want to waste it on trying to fight like Genjis and Traces. It's not gonna work very well. So we're mostly gonna focus tanks.
Get the monkey Diva.
Yeah.
On top of that, we have a Torbjorn turret to protect.
Nice.
So. Okay, so we got the DMAC on Diva. I take a lot of damage now. I'm at 130 health. In this case, I decided to drop down.
I'm gonna go point. There's too much pressure.
Like I said, there's too much pressure up there. We didn't have enough damage to keep him at bay, so I have to drop.
Scrooty's low.
It's going to be interesting. I put my shield down like this, and I'm going to put up the map again. So basically, I put my shield about like this. Say that this is like the approximate size and whatnot. I'm going to use black dots for friendly teammates, or enemy teammates, sorry. So the enemy is all positioned around the plaza here, if you will. And my own teammates are kind of around here. The thing is, with Orisa's barrier, it's at like a little bit of an arc, as you can see. And in this case, you can use it almost like half of a Winston bubble, where you can sort of use the edges and the actual round shapes that it has to take cover and to duke in and out of cover, which is very effective against this specific in this specific situation, because they have so much damage here on the balcony and on the closet side. Now we can shield relatively effectively, and we still have an escape to the health pack, which is why I'm putting it there, so we can rotate between that.
Scrooty dead.
Okay, so we killed the Diva and we killed Scrooty. We lost our own Diva in the process. So in this case, I try to get the monkey because he's kind of low.
Monkey half, he jumped out, pulling out.
I could have gone for the Genji pull, but I wanted the monkey. I was greedy.
Can do the back one.
I have to protect my healers, that's good.
Okay.
I'm 80 on.
Let's go back up top, there's still a Moira around.
It's someone. Yeah, it's someone up top. She's on top.
Okay, so Chris is going to go sneaky. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so they used the Moira orb just now, and they used Monkey Bow.
With monkey.
So what I'm trying to do now, I know that I'm going to have to take the Moira down, because if I start shooting the monkey, he has too much HP, and on top of that, Moira can heal him. So I have to focus the Moira when possible. So I'm putting my shield down right now, just to ensure that she cannot get a right click off of me or Chris, so she has very little self-sustain, because she already used her like bubble, or her orb, sorry, so she cannot heal herself.
They're one.
So they move inside my bubble now, or inside Winston's bubble. So I pull them onto the ground, I move in, and I shift. The reason I shift here, it's very niche. Fortify gives me damage reduction of 50%, so if she wants to right-click me, she's only going to get like a less amount of healing. So we track the Moira down, then it's only monkey alive. He has no bubble.
Jumping across. Monkey one dead.
Okay, so now we got two big staggers with 10 seconds remaining, which is very vital. Like I remembered that Moira was up top there, but I kind of forgot about the monkey in my communications. But still, luckily were able to clean him up.
Point.
I'm on point.
So now in this situation, I'm holding it quite aggressively. I could have held it further back, because Swanky's going to rush my shield. And then my shield now has got like very little value. So my shielding there isn't ideal, just because they can circumnavigate it so efficiently now. Like, it's sort of placed in no man's land, and they all just move around it. Luckily, we already had like 2 kills prior, and Chris now gets a double kill as well. It's kind of over already. But my shielding there wasn't very good, because it wasn't really effectively shielding my teammates, and it wasn't really effectively keeping enemies at bay either. They could just run around it.
Pulling Diva, get the baby.
Okay, so in this case, I'm pulling slightly overwards. I'm gonna quickly rewind it for 1 second. Pulling the... So now she already has a bit of vertical movement, but if you have a stationary target on the ground, if you pull them upwards, then they are stuck in 2 linear movements. Firstly, they move upwards in 1 straight line, and then they move down in 1 straight line. Or in this case, she's on the side while she gets pulled. Let's say if she's like a bit lower to the ground, she gets pulled like this, right? In that case, the movement is very easy to track. You can just put your crosshair upwards, tick by tick, if you will, and then you can put them down, tick by tick. So in this case, I'm trying to pull overhead a bit, just to ensure that Swanky Pat, or in this case Diva, is stuck in a linear momentum twice, which is very easy to track, and which he has very little control over his directional movement. So I'm trying to pull him over a bit. As you can see, he's going to get slung over.
We get the big...
So he literally gets, like, I don't even aim very well, but he literally takes 100 damage just from, like, the pull process. Then he starts crouch spamming, and then I cannot aim, so it's tough.
Genji in the back, low. Get the Genji. Nice.
Nice. So it's one of the general things of Ursa pulls. If you're dealing with a relatively stationary target, you want to pull them overhead preferably, just because they're stuck in a linear line of movement twice, which is the most reliable way to track them. And with heroes like Zenyatta, like when I practice Ursa quite a lot, I could quite easily, quite reliably, you could kill them just by your pull if they didn't get healing in any time, because they have relatively big hitboxes, they have very little mobility, and once they're stuck in like a double linear pattern, it's relatively easy to track. Okay, so he managed to full hold, that's all good.
That's so close.
That was really good, that was right.
Not even close, Kappa.
Not even close.
No, was so close to my ult.
Ah, yeah.
Oh god, I wasn't on high ground.
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
I go attack Torbjorn.
No, let's go for real.
We have 5 minutes, so...
Yeah, we can build like a Grav combo if you want.
Sure.
Because they'll have a full hold combo.
No.
Or you do one full dive, Chris? Or...
Yeah. So I see, like, initially we're going for a more deathball style. We have Krill on Zarya, me and Ryan. I suggested they would go for a combo. So we basically have like a more stationary deathball comp going on here.
Dive.
I don't mind going dive.
We only need a tick.
Then everyone's saying dive.
Sure.
Okay, let's try full dive first.
Dive's questionable.
We're gonna do the LA Valiant thing. We're just gonna see what they have, and if they have like Brigade Cancer and shit, then we're just gonna instantly switch
may
off.
be a problem.
Yeah, let's use Steven for scouting then, because she is
or Monkey, yeah.
So we know that Crusted isn't really very good with like very mobile flanker heroes. Soldier's still a relatively good picker because he still has like a sprint ability, which has good movement. So what we'll be trying to do then is give Soldier the high ground.
That's nice. Okay, if we can, let's try to push on the top right side, so Soldier can get a good high ground.
Okay, if we're pushing high ground, I'd be better off on Genji.
And Chris correctly says, yeah, I could better go Genji then, so we're gonna go for that.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, we're gonna go with Reinhardt Zarya. We can stick to the same supports. And we might go for like some combo DPS. Soldier's still viable there, but we might wanna go for a Hanzo again then, or a Junkrat, something like that.
Alright, hold on.
For now it's fine, just let's see what they do.
Let's go.
We have time to fuck up actually.
Yeah, but like we don't want to give him armor packs.
No.
They're not main.
Hanzo on the high
So now we're just scouting for a bit, and I see...
Roof.
Hey, they have Rista comp, I see a Zen.
Hanzo.
Same position as us. Same position as us.
Okay, so in this case, like, I know that the enemy wants to play keep away for quite a while, and if you're running, like, a dive comp into what they're running, like a very stationary Ursa comp, you oftentimes have to be relatively patient with how you approach it, because their comp, oftentimes, like, a more spam-heavy comp takes a while to get value because they need to get their ultimates up, whereas a dive comp can very quickly get value just by getting a kill very quickly. So I know that we can, even though we have like a comp that is very good at getting like value very quickly, I know that we have to be careful because if we screw up now, they're going to have armor packs of some sort, and you do not want that to happen. So you want to take your time against this type of comp.
Genji,
I'm gonna fly left, like right.
They have a Torb.
Okay, so they have a Torb. So I know now, like, Chris is following me, Nyana's following me, and I'm going left side as well.
I'm gonna rotate it by now. Just take your time.
Now we're going to do a pincer attack again. I'm just waiting for a bit.
He's got solar arrow, high ground.
I'm with the tanks by the way in the back.
We're gonna have to dive the turret, okay?
Like a double barrier.
Okay, so I'm calling for Krill to dive the turret. What I'm doing here is keeping cover as long as I can.
Yeah, I know, but we can go through it.
So I'm checking where Krill is. He seems to be in position, perfectly fine. So, like, with all their spam comp, they only now get to basically attack me and Krill very well. Like, Krill took a bit of poke damage, but only now do we, like, actually show our faces. And as you can see, that turret is going to be dead very quickly, and I've barely taken any damage in the process. And just because I took cover as long as I could, and we basically made the pincer move again, where we would attack from different angles as much as possible.
Turret down.
And we died. Okay, so I was kind of taking a lot of damage, and I don't want to fight like and Scrutty on Zen, and a Torbjorn, and a Reinhardt, and an Orisa in like a close quarter. So I had to drop down again. But we got the turret down for now, which is a big nuisance out of the way. So okay, now I just turn around and see the Moira is low on point.
Moira on point. Moira on point, dead.
Yeah. Ryan's one in the back.
They have a new turret. Let's go for the Reinhardt then.
Yeah.
Shield them too.
It's looking kind of messy.
Reinhardt's zoned out in the back.
Thought he was going to go around, but he didn't. Okay. Scrutty popped off.
Ryan low. Dead. Okay.
So in this case, I saw at some point that the fight was going to be lost, but since Reinhardt was very low, I wanted to kill Reinhardt simply because if like Scrutty was already getting so many kills, if he would get like a bunch of healing off on Reinhardt, because Reinhardt was literally below 50 HP, if he would get all that healing, would have Transcendence almost instantly. And that would be very tough to fight into.
Reset.
So I wanted to kill Reinhardt when possible. And on top of that, they don't have a Mercy, so Reinhardt's going to be out of the fight for a bit. So what I'm hoping that we can do is regroup quicker than they can, and take one fight with a small advantage, if you will, because Reinhardt's not there.
Now, no one can die now. We're going to push in straight when the Reinhardt's not around.
Hanzo is 70.
Switch this.
You're going to switch? Okay, let's go then. Hanzo got an arrow on me. We have to be quick, because Reinhardt will be back soon.
On the way!
Nice kill.
Okay, so now I'm seeing Moira on the right side.
We got a third.
Someone's right side on the
Go big kill.
Yeah,
Hit a stationary target.
Okay, so in this case, I'm kind of not sticking to my own strategy because we're not rushing them as soon as we wanted to. On the other hand, we did just switch Crested around, so it might not have even been the case that Reinhardt was not back with the team by the time we attacked. But I could have maybe just rushed main still.
Like we pretty much have Falk actually.
Okay, let's just engage with that. Okay.
Yeah.
They might have Molten Core, so watch out for that. Are ready to go?
Okay, so I heard the Hanzo ultimate voice line, so I knew I had to get out of the way essentially and try to get into the open where we could avoid it.
I hit it.
So this is interesting. Vibes now going on the low ground.
Nice.
I expected him to stay on it because simply with Vibes now climbing up a wall, he's stuck in a very long linear movement again where he cannot really shoot or defend himself, but he's taking a lot of damage.
Hands up top now. Hands up top low.
And on top of that, Vibes just uses jump now to get into an aggro position. So I know he's now basically almost free to kill because he took a decent amount of damage already, and on top of that, he uses only real mobility to get into the fray of things.
I fell down.
So we get him, perfectly fine. So now we killed the turret twice, which means that Torbjorn cannot build a turret for a short period of time now.
We killed the turret, no Molten Core yet?
I got you.
Okay, so now I'm just trying to, we got one kill on them, which is in this case Vibes, and we killed the turret. So their spam comp is now kind of crumbling apart, simply because they don't really have the reliable spam damage anymore to maintain it. Now I'm just trying to go low ground and force them onto the point, if you will.
I got you.
Stand low on.
So Scrutty now uses Transcendence to contest.
Low on point, he trans.
But they still have Orisa up top, so
go for top.
me and Krill are up top. The Torbjorn turret's dead again, so still no Molten Core available. And whoever's up top cannot really receive healing from Scrutty's Transcendence, so we're going to fight up top. Okay, in this case I was kind of ducking to the left side a bit, because I saw there was some players from blue team onto the point, and I wanted to avoid possible damage while still killing Orisa. So there we go.
I'm going for Zen now.
Okay, let's go for Zen. Cool.
Zen and Moira, okay?
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm ulting just because I can keep Scrutty in a corner, and unless a miracle happens, I can kill him.
He's in the Hellfire room. He's dead.
Okay, so they use Molten Core now, but they still have to build a turret, as you can hear.
They got a pin. Moira.
Okay, so they got a pin off on Krill, but I did get the kill on Moira a bit randomly, but I still got it. I'll take it. So, okay, Reinhardt's alone, and Krill's got a self-destruct going in there. I have to crowd control this Reinhardt away from my team, because you don't want Reinhardt swinging at your teammates. You just want him away from it in this case.
Ryan dead.
Hold on.
Molten Core.
Okay, so now I'm going to use my bubble here, and in this case, Hentai is using Molten Core, but he's literally inside my bubble with not a single teammate of mine inside the bubble, so he has to move out of the bubble, or one of my teammates has to move into the bubble. So basically, Hentai is now completely isolated on Torbjorn.
Orange.
So he walks out, so I walk back in. Krill does the same.
Yeah, talk first. I don't want shenanigans with the armor pack and shit.
So in this case, Chris is calling the Tracers back, that's correct. In this case, I want to attack Torbjorn, just because Tracer is so much harder to attack with all their mobility and their recall. And Torbjorn can get armor packs off, which is always risky. So I want to attack Torbjorn because he's easier to hit and kill, and I don't want to get any more armor packs on point.
Torb low, 1 HP, dead. Okay, Tracer now.
Someone in the little room, I think.
I see him. They're one.
Okay,
good job. Lucia point now.
I completely lost Lucia here. I had no clue where he was.
Nice.
And we got him.
Nice,
Big
that's a
guys.
GG.
Fucking big.
And that is the end of a very long pub game and a very long VOD review, I just noticed.
How long? Oh,
Like 1.5 hours or so.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Yeah. So I talked for a lot. Were there any more questions that people had, or?
Actually,
No, that you
No.
mention it.
No.
I think I had something. I totally forgot it now.
No questions, guy. You had a record, right, Chris?
I'm recording everything, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Okay, I'll turn the recording off now. Any more questions?
Let's see. I think no one has questions then. Otherwise, you can ask them now, preferably. Otherwise, I can always do it later. But if you want to have them recorded, that's your chance.
I think we're good.
Right.
Okay, turning off the
Was it helpful in any way? I hope.